Two Beards Talk, where thought lives and dies.
Just throwing into it.
Bingo.
Bam. Let's do this. All right. So the talk on everyone's mind today. Let's see. Some of the stupid stuff you used to believe when you were younger. Let's start. What you got?
Actually, I didn't believe a lot of stupid stuff.
Oh,
So-
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, no, I was very perfect as a kid, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
it's
know.
been a privilege for you growing up with me, I must say.
Yep. I wouldn't call it a privilege. I'd call it a few other things before I'd call it a privilege.
An honor.
Yeah. Turns into a cough.
Yeah, I know. This stupid allergy bullshit.
Oh, there it is. Sure, it's not Corona.
Yeah, Corona.
Oh.
Don't even get me started. You didn't want to go there because you know after that comes politics, and you didn't want to get into that yet.
Now let's start it off light.
So, stupid, weird things I used to believe as a kid.
Yeah.
So here's a weird one. I believed that if I pissed in the toy box, nobody would ever find out.
Well, technically, they never found out for you. They always just blame me. So
No,
I mean,
this is before you. This is
Oh.
like when we were living on Home Street.
wow.
And
So you're going back even
before Crystal.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was the perfect kid because I
Oh.
was alone.
That's one of those things where. How old were you when I was born?
You're 89, I was 6.
Oh.
Crystal was
So yeah, you still had a good few years of when you could still pull that off on me because kids still do stupid stuff.
You know what? Crystal was so terrible. You didn't bother me that much. It was
Well, no,
was not-
it wasn't until I was around 6 or 7 when you figured out, oh hey, there's another kid.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, it was around that time you got glasses.
Yes. And that kind of goes into my thing of there was always this sense of, because I had terrible vision when I was younger. I had a really bad lazy eye. So I always thought anytime someone looked outside, like, what are you staring at? There's literally nothing out there because I just couldn't see anything.
You know, that blows my mind. And you just told me this like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, because it was one of those crazy things where you just every slightly bad memory, no, it's just out of your brain. You don't think about it. So I'm just like, what the heck did I used to think when I was a kid? And then the other stupid thing was animals or animal prints made everything 100 times better. Because to correct my eye, they had to put an eye patch on it. So I thought, all right, great way to make it not at all noticeable is put little animal stickers on it. On the eye patch itself.
Wait. So, putting an animal sticker on some abnormality
Yes.
makes that abnormality better.
Correct.
The next time I go to the VA, I'm putting animal stickers on amputees' legs.
Exactly.
And I'm going to say, you feel better now.
Yep, that's exactly what my mind was like. I was like, all right, these animal stickers, we're putting it on, make everything better, 100%.
Gosh,
And
the,
every
the
single-
innocence of youth.
Exactly. And I had to change the eye patch almost every day because it was like a little flesh-colored stick-on. So it
Oh, that's
matched
right. I
it
forgot
matched
about that.
My face.
That's
So-
even weirder.
Yes.
'Cause the temporary one is the one I remember when they were trying to bring your lazy eye normal.
Yeah. But I still
When
had
you-
that on for like a month or two.
When you first got the patch, you had a black patch.
Yep.
It was your freaking pirate patch.
Yeah. But I put stickers on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember the stickers.
I remember the stickers because the animal pattern, stuff was always just like, oh yeah, that seems like a fantastic idea, and of course everyone ran with it because hey, don't say no to the kid.
I mean, how
Please.
old were you? You were
was
what,
like-
6, 5?
5 or 6.
I just remember your first pair of glasses.
Yeah, because I wouldn't shut the heck up.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh man,
The
there's
grocery store.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at all the boxes. I'm like, dude,
they've always been
they've
there.
always been there, and they've always looked like that.
Oh
So weird stuff. So seriously, looking out a window,
yeah,
you just thought there's nothing out there.
yeah. It's kind of like when you play a really old video game. You just kind of like, oh, there's just fog and haze. This is just normal.
You know what? You just reminded me of one when I was really young.
Oh,
When I was really young, I had a recurring nightmare.
you'd have a fucking younger brother.
So okay, there's got to be some context. We grew up in Massachusetts, outside of Boston.
Yep.
Trains and subways, they were just a part of life.
Yeah. 'Cause we were-
taxis and buses, not so much, but
Well, because we were poor.
true. So we used to take the train, especially one of my fondest memories of my grandmother. We used to take the train to Cambridge to go see my great-grandmother in the nursing home. And there's a bridge that goes from Beverly into Salem. It's a train bridge. It's 2 tracks. And the bridge is literally the width of the 2 tracks. So when you're in the train looking out the window, there's literally nothing below you. Mm-hmm. I used to think that the bridge was breaking. Like... Not because not because that the train was making noise or shaking or anything like that. It was if I couldn't see it, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's why your window story reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So the recurring nightmare was we would be driving across the Beverly Salem Bridge back then, which was an old steel bridge. And
it's a fishing pier now. It's crazy.
yeah, I know it's weird.
Yeah.
We moved out right after the Veterans Bridge opened, which is no longer the Veterans Bridge, by the way.
What's it called now?
I don't know what it's called now. I can't remember, but they changed the name. So when we were driving from Beverly into Salem, the nightmare was that bridge was also breaking, and we had to jump the car onto parts of the bridge to make it across. And I always woke up right before we hit land.
Man, the craziest thing was before they replaced that bridge, they actually had a problem with sections of the bridge were collapsing.
Yeah, because it was an old green steel bridge from
Yeah.
I don't even know when that thing was built.
Oh my God. Half the city was either built in the 1900s or the 1600s.
That's true. There was not a lot between that. It was
No.
we got rid of everything that burnt down or could burn in between that. And I'm kind of curious.
Oh, now we're off on a tangent right here. You see when the bridge was built?
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure you could just do Beverly Salem Bridge and they'll know exactly what it is.
No, I take it back. I guess it's still called the Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Oh. So apparently they aren't completely, crazy.
But you know what? It's hard. Man, history is hard to find anymore.
What are you talking about? History didn't start till, as soon as the internet happened, that's when history
Oh,
happened.
whoever wrote this story was from Salem.
Oh my gosh.
It's the Salem Beverly Bridge.
It doesn't even that doesn't even make sense in like an alphabetical order situation. It's always the highest is always the second.
Yes.
B, it's the second letter. There you go. Bam. Beverly Salem.
So weird stuff.
Yeah.
And conspiracy theories. So that's a weird thing I believed.
Yeah.
I believe bridges were doomed, which is odd because I love bridges now.
Yeah, well, okay, but the bridges thing, that goes into a lot of family paranoia with my dad, or our dad. Well, I don't say my. He was terrified of bridges and heights. So, I mean, I could understand of where you'd get some of that paranoia from.
But I didn't even know he was paranoid about that back then because we didn't go anywhere where there were bridges.
Oh, yeah, true.
I mean, beyond the Beverly Salem Bridge, Salem Beverly Bridge, the Danvers River Bridge.
No one calls it that.
So, yeah, that's interesting. The window thing, I find that fascinating, especially when we have people on this planet that think it's flat.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, clearly, if they don't have the correct vision and all that type of stuff, I mean, they're looking out a window, they're seeing flat or nothing. It's super easy to fall into, especially with the internet, with all this technology. Everyone can start believing some really, really off the wall stuff.
So I was doing... That one's getting cut out.
You were doing some coughing?
I was doing some reading on the flat earth theory people because, I don't want to shoot down a theory just because I believe something completely different.
Oh, that one I'll shoot down right off the bat.
However,
You mentioned it.
I am a child of the Hubble Space Telescope era. So I have seen pictures from space back
Hold
at
on,
Earth
hold
and
on.
space out to stars.
There's also a lot of context in this because when he was growing up, he wanted to be an Air Force pilot or
No, I had a straight up plan.
Yeah.
So the plan was graduate high school with an appointment to the Air Force Academy. I almost had that secured in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And go to the Air Force Academy, become a pilot. I love the F-16. I wanted to fly that plane. That was my dream.
The wrong plane.
It's the best plane aside from the SR-22, aside from the F-22.
No, but even then, the F-18 is still better.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. It's not agile. It's a fat bitch in the air.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you need.
No,
But
it's not.
That's besides the point. All right.
Put it
continue
up
with the
against a
story.
MiG. I mean, granted, with all the interconnectivity of jets
What
now,
happens a MiG gonna do?
a MiG from the 80s. This is my childhood,
Oh,
okay? Get it
okay.
right. So that was the whole point, was to go to the Air Force Academy
Russian MiG.
and get into the NASA program. I wanted to be an astronaut. Like more than kids say they want to be astronauts, firemen. Like, I legit wanted to go to space, and I still do.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk, hey, hit me up. Actually, Virgin Mobile guy, I can't remember his name.
Richard Bronson.
Richard Bronson.
I was gonna say
we can be
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, go freaking First Floridian, Virgin
Discounted rates.
Galactic.
I'll be that Florida guy, the Florida story for you. Whatever you want me to do up there, I'll try it. So going to school with that mentality, granted, I hated school. So the only thing that kept me going through middle school, especially because that's when people start to pay attention to how you did in school, how you behaved in school. The only thing that kept me going was that goal, that dream.
Yeah, and Apollo 13.
And that movie was it's your mountain, Maryland, Mount Maryland. If you have not seen Apollo 13, go see it. You'll understand that. Drunk Tom Hanks is a funny guy.
Yep.
And if my sister's listening to this right now, she's gonna go crazy and give me a call.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Well, it's because Apollo 13 was such a large part of our entire childhood. I think we went through several VHS tapes. Of
I know
the movie.
three for sure.
Yes. And that's all that I can remember. And we just quote the ever-living crap out of the movie at the most random points. And it'll be like, oh, yeah, we walk.
I wonder wenn Gunther van.
Yeah, it's walking talk on the moon.
So that is so bad. It's also why I didn't like Corvettes for a long time. It stalled on Tom Hanks in the intersection. So going to space, and especially this flat Earth theory, for me, it almost seems like a personal attack in that I don't understand how somebody can believe that. With what we have for science, telescopes, all these things, it doesn't seem like a plausible theory anymore. So to go into reading and watching videos of them discussing this with an open mind is a little bit difficult for me. But it's I need a freaking cough button. But it's actually there is a cough button. Look at that. Hashtag new software. But it doesn't make sense to me. I can't justify it. And the experiments that they use are highly flawed.
Yeah, and if they look at it with a critical mind, it actually disproves their own theory in the
but does it?
experiments they're doing.
But think of it on their side. The mirage on water
Yep.
helps them and hurts them at the same time.
Yes.
It helps them in that if there's a mirage, it's going to take up portions of the hull.
Correct. But if they were measuring the portions that were actually visible to them and notice that, okay, you have 20 feet of the ship above water, where the hell is the other 10 feet?
Correct. That's why I say it helps them and hurts them.
Yeah.
Because deciding or figuring where that mirage is without high definition optics is difficult to do. And their lack of definition is what they rely on to prove their experiment.
Yes, because if you have 6 pixels that all blend in together that are roughly about the same view and the same color, it's really hard to say, okay, here's where the horizon is. Here's where the water mirage is, and then there's where the actual boat begins.
You're relying on digital zoom and digital compression of pictures to prove or disprove your point.
And the last thing we want to do is relying on digital zoom.
Correct.
Anytime you even touch a digital zoom button,
Until
it's just
AI
like,
gets to the point of being able to say that's incorrect and fix it, then
as soon as AI gets to that point, we're already obsolete. We hit the singularity. If AI can figure out how to take a decent picture, we're screwed.
so your threshold is decent pictures interpreted by AI.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Mine is completely different. Like when it becomes sentient and decides for itself that it is or is not.
But if it can have an accurate, subjective view on what a good picture is,
But that's just programming.
subjective, not objective. If it can have its own subjective opinion, then we're screwed. Because then it's already forming its own opinions. If an AI forms its own opinions, we're dead. I mean, they're already speaking their own language,
Okay.
and that's where it gets terrifying.
Yeah, the the AIs talking to each other and deciding that the English language is too fat and clunky.
Yeah.
And eliminating very important parts of it for context for humans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's just not go there. I'm with Elon Musk on this. Elon Musk 5 years ago.
Yes. Well, even then, some of his crusades before who knows what he is doing now. But even then, it's just like,
Well, now he's digging holes and putting tunnels in the ground under LA
I mean,
because of traffic.
Well, I mean, there's like 20 million conspiracy theories right there.
Well, Elon Musk dug a hole without any real plan and got permits for it. That is a conspiracy.
I mean, it sounds like he's an alien.
He says he's an alien, so I can't. I mean, aren't we supposed to believe everyone?
Oh, now we got to edit Wikipedia. I mean, because hey, if it's on Wikipedia, you know it's true.
Not at all. See, I edited Wikipedia once.
Yep, and we figured out that the Miami Dolphins are a
High school team.
Yeah, high school team.
Yeah, that was a fun time. I got screenshots on this phone.
Yep.
Also got me banned from editing Wikipedia.
Yeah, but it was worth it though, because it's the Miami Dolphins. So I mean,
Totally worth it.
exactly.
So when the Dolphins were playing, what were they playing?
They weren't playing football. They were like 0-10.
I don't remember what game it was, but yeah, I went and edited their.
Oh, it was the Redskins game. It was the toilet bowl. It was like a 0-10 team versus another 0-10 team. So it was
That's
like
right.
whoever wins, no one wins.
That's true. I feel like that tree lady right now. That's true.
And you lost me, the tree lady.
Really? You don't... Oh, this is getting bad. You don't know about the two ladies that record a podcast and talk to trees?
Nope, don't know about that life.
You should look it up. Tree lady talks to trees, or
Oh.
podcast talks to trees.
No, I like the tree lady talks to trees.
It might come up. It's a younger lady on the left and an older younger lady on the left, older lady on the right. They got cheek mics.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that is a quality place to get some. Oh, you.
Is she waving?
What the hell, man? What do you have me look at?
So they're literally podcasters that put out a podcast pretty regularly that talk to the trees and spiritually connect with the trees and interpret what the trees are saying.
Give me water,
No.
sunlight.
Oh. A lot of it is anti-man. Yeah. So you're seeing the video of the tree ladies.
Man, I don't even. What the hell do people have to smoke to start believing that random crap?
It's the new age thing.
How long can it be called the New Age when it just turns the age if it's been around since like the 70s and even before then?
Till there's a new age, and then it'll be the postmodern age.
So, oh gosh, no, it's just trees, man, just trees.
So let's go to something more plausible. How about some aliens?
Okay, aliens. That's the thing. If we're talking about, if aliens exist, then yeah, I 100% believe that. If we're talking about if they previously came to Earth, saw these random hairy things and be like, yo, we should help them build pyramids, and then just decided to go away,
Why not?
Why would they?
We're
You
more ready.
mastered interdimensional or some type of space travel that travel light years. And then you just help them move some dirt around.
Okay, take it from the macro and bring it to the micro. We explore,
Yes.
and when we find something, we usually ruin it,
Yep.
and then we leave it be because now it's protected.
Do you
What
help,
if Earth is a freaking reserve?
do you help a snail randomly do whatever snails do?
Sometimes.
No.
I had a snail on the door. I tossed it into the woods. Bam. Time travel.
Well, I mean, for the snail, it's just
Exactly.
like, how did I get here?
It's all about perspective.
Exactly.
So it's kind of funny because I've actually listened to a lot of this since I get up at 3 a.m. I sometimes listen to Coast AM on the way to work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
But
that's
it's not bad.
yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a really good job of staying completely neutral in the conversation. Like, I couldn't tell you what the host thinks.
no, he my problem is sometimes staying neutral is a lot more
Like pandering,
yes.
because he's very pandering.
Yeah, and
But he
that's-
lets... What he does, though, is lets people get comfortable,
yes.
and then they just spill their guts.
Exactly, but there are a lot
Which is why
easier
I know
ways-
there's several different types of aliens.
exactly.
Like, way to hit the freaking plate and make a ding sound.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. Trying to get the dogs to quit making
Bella.
noise.
Stop.
And that didn't quite work.
Well, you're just gonna have to bite it and tell them. But why is it so unreasonable to think that aliens came to Earth, built some triangular things called pyramids that somehow line up with celestial objects,
Okay.
and then I don't know why they would leave. Listen, I can't connect.
yeah,
I can't
okay.
connect then to now. It doesn't make sense.
This is where it makes more sense to just say humans do a lot of really, really stupid things.
Like build pyramids in the middle of the
Yes.
desert for dead kings.
And that's where throughout all of history, everything we do is based off of celestial anything. So connecting it to stars just is not the biggest leap in the world to say. Humans are like, all right, let's look up there. Let's match that, but down here. And if you have all the free time in the world, what else are you gonna do?
That is true.
You literally have
With advancement comes the lack of being able to stop.
correct, and you have people who have basically for them unlimited manpower because they're kings. They could literally do whatever the crap they want.
Let's be real. The Jews built the pyramids.
Everybody built the pyramids.
That's what I think.
It was literally if you were a slave, Jews were slaves, black people were slaves, Egyptians were slaves, white people were slaves. If they could get any contact with the Egyptians, bam, you were their slave.
So is that why it was okay for Egyptians to have slaves because it was not racially charged?
Well, I mean, we should be asking Egyptians.
I mean,
We know that we should get
have
the ancient aliens to go back in time and ask the Egyptians. Because, I mean, you know, if it's good for the goose, good for the gander. Oh,
Wow, I can't believe you just said that. That was the
Wow.
biggest platitude you've ever said in my life.
oh, that was just like if you're going to go out big.
But seriously, what? So are you a creationist or an evolutionist?
I am more of a intelligent design. So
Okay.
it's more of a mix between the two. I like to look at it as someone built the coding and then ran the program. So we're based off of a designer's rules and laws that were put into place by a higher
So
power.
somebody set up the system
Yes.
and turned the light switch on.
Yes,
But after that, we're left to ourselves.
generally. But there always has to be some outside input. If anybody that has touched even a piece of code knows that, hey, sometimes crap goes wrong.
No, nothing ever
No.
goes wrong with code.
No, in fact, I have an error here on this tablet that won't go away. So, I mean, that just proves at least some
Hashtag
part.
no error in code. That's an error in user.
Well,
Have you tried to restart it?
Yep. I have tried to restart it.
Did you unplug the power and plug it back in?
It's not even plugged in. It's battery powered.
Well, there's your problem. You got no power running to it.
You know, I don't think you'll like it if
Damn,
I just open
IT
it up.
professional right there.
You got to work for your money.
So, I too, being raised Christian, lean toward creationists, but I can see evolution within species.
Yeah, that's...
The big jumps between monkeys to humans, I just can't logically, and it's not a science base. This is all opinion for me. I can't see the jumps because if it was an evolutional drive, why did the monkey stay? And nothing between the monkey and the human survived.
Yeah, they're just chilling.
They're in the ice caps?
Yeah. Hey, I've seen enough Scooby-Doo.
The aliens put them there.
I've seen enough Scooby-Doo to know there's a caveman up there.
I've seen enough Scooby-Doo to know that you're probably not George sitting across from me. You're an alien or Lex Luthor.
Now you're thinking. That was another one of those crazy things.
I'm actually talking to Elon Musk right now, and I don't even know it.
Man, if I was
going to Mars.
I think we'd make the living a little bit better if
I
was
just
Elon
want a
Musk.
Tesla.
I will take all of them. Well, not so much the Model X.
I'll take an S. Performance mode S or performance package S.
Listen, I'll take the Roadster. I couldn't fit in a Roadster. I'll probably take the
I was
S.
gonna say, dude, I can't even fit in a Miata. Have you seen me squeeze into a Miata? Charles has seen me squeeze into a Miata.
You can't even fit into like a subcompact, let alone a Miata. I would love to see
I've driven a Geo several times, except I usually have to sit in the back seat. Thank you, Chevy, for making the seat go to the back seat.
Yes. That was probably the only decent vehicle that they've made in the past 20 years.
The Geo?
Yeah.
I drive a Chevy 3500. That is a very decent vehicle. Diesel.
Yes, but that is also more of a work thing, and you would never buy that.
Oh,
with
I would
your own
totally
money.
buy it with my own money if I had that kind of money.
Bull crap. I'm pretty sure that if you were to get something around that spec, it would not be a Chevy.
You're right. It'd be a GMC or a Ford.
Why would you get a GMC?
So I can spend more money and get almost the exact same vehicle.
It is the exact same vehicle. Now we're gonna upcharge you 20 grand to get about
It's not that much.
6 different part swaps.
You know how close we were to getting the GMC 3500? It's literally a $700 difference between work trucks. Badging costs $700.
Man, they're cheap. I mean, they got to go to that like Lambo, and there's a fly in my alcohol.
Protein.
Ugh.
How did we get on cars? Elon Musk, he did it to us.
Yep.
Oh, I might have got it that time.
Still in there.
So, creationism. I'm definitely a creationist. I think I'm a little further than you. I don't think that I think God created us with very specific purposes and goals and dreams. And I think he's still active in our lives. So I agree that he didn't just set off a light switch. I'm not agnostic in that sense.
I wouldn't say agnostic, but it's a easier way to explain it, to not necessarily say random chance on top of random chance on top of random chance that are basically 0.000000001% on top of another 0.000000001% might have happened.
But if it did, then there's definitely aliens.
Yes, 100%. But also
on the creation side,
there's nothing.
There's definitely aliens.
Yeah, because it's just from the matter of perspective of you have. I mean, theoretically, infinite amount of space, but also not really infinite amount of space. We just can't really tell where space starts and stops.
It is infinite in its potential.
Yeah.
But it's not infinite in size.
Well, I mean, if it's infinitely expanding, it would infinitely expand till basically, what is it? Empathy?
No, until the cold point or whatever that is, where it's too far away to create heat anymore.
Yes, but what is it? What is it called? Entropy. Where entropy just takes over, and it's so large that nothing can change, and everything that has changed will change. So
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it has its potential infinity, but it's not
Yeah.
infinite in itself right now.
no. And then that's where
By the way, if it was a flat Earth, why would we be expanding? Because gravity wouldn't exist on that.
listen, as someone who's really fat, expansion just sometimes happens.
True.
So
But
I mean,
hey, be comforted in your fatness. Me and you and I.
us and we,
Yes. They and them.
Z and Zer.
We have more gravity than Charles does over here.
Well, we have but between the two of us, we have about the same, but all of our gravity is just outweighed by the massive, giant, flat plane of Earth we have below us.
Or that orbital disc called the moon that's perfectly aimed toward us to only ever give us one side.
Nah, man, it's not there. It's a projection.
Oh, I forgot. It's a planetarium or terrarium.
Yeah, planetarium.
Planetarium, terrarium. What's the difference?
Planetarium is basically space, and terrarium is just Earth. It's an Earth aquarium.
We're an Earth aquarium.
But we have
It's a planetary terrarium.
And this is how God, I'm out of my freaking drink.
Too much whiskey tonight. I have to work in the morning.
Not enough. Well, I mean, depending on when this gets up, maybe you don't have to work in the morning.
Oh, that's true. I may have already worked.
Exactly.
That's the existentialism of our podcast.
You know, that's one thing, especially with time. Maybe at one point the Earth was flat. Because, I mean, if you always see rings and stuff
if you
like
think
that.
about it, if you believe that there was a bang, which I think there was a bang, when God said, let there be life, or Earth, it had to expand out of something.
Yeah.
So why not have a singularity that blew up and everything created? So if you have that, and you're infinitely accelerating at we're accelerating slower at that point. But there was more gravity. So maybe our oblong ball was a flatter ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you look at it in time, if you do a really short snippet of time when something's moving really fast, it just looks like it's
That's it.
a plane.
The flat earthers are moving too damn quick.
Exactly. We got to slow them down.
We'll slow them down with our alien theories.
Exactly.
No, anyway, Coast to Coast. It's a really I don't even want to say interesting. It is a show that exists when nobody is awake except the people who can't sleep.
And that's the best part, because it's like, what do you have to fill time that early in the morning? Just crazy people saying crazy things, and just some guy be like, yeah, I mean, what about it?
Well, you know the different types of aliens.
Oh, I mean, there's like
There's
grays.
the lizards, the grays.
Yeah.
I don't remember the rest.
There were several.
It's always the
others.
lizards and the grays because they're at war and they're the ones that mess with us the most.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, half the politicians they're lizardmen.
Well, that's I wasn't gonna go there.
Well, I mean, hey, if we're talking about that, then but it's also the same people say the Greys are also influencing it as well. But if they're influencing the lizard,
You know, I could see Rand Paul being a gray.
man, that's probably why his neighbor attacked him, trying to be an ancient alien hunter right there.
Oh my god.
It's all good, bro. I'll get COVID-19 anyways.
It's all weird perspectives. I don't even know. It's just funny how your opinions and your beliefs evolve. To go from thinking that
Shit, you can't say that. You're a creationist. You can't say the word evolve.
listen, I can use the word
Banned.
evolve because it is a word in the language that is acceptable to use.
Is it though?
My opinion evolves. Sometimes it devolves. I learned on Super Mario Brothers that de-evolution is possible too. You just hit them with a gun.
Yep. And then you get little
Or
raptors,
not Oompa Loompas.
little Goombas.
Goombas. I want to.
You know, my thing is there's gonna be a whole subset of people that are like, wait, that was never in the games, and they were like, there's a movie, and no one ever remembers the movie.
I don't think the movie was popular.
No, the movie wasn't popular, and it was terrible.
It was a bad movie.
Yes.
I don't even remember who played in it.
Bob Hoskins, I think, was Mario, and was it Dennis Hopper was Bowser?
Oh, that's right. I remember him being Bowser.
Yeah, and those are the only two that I ever remember. Because let's put a British person as an Italian American.
And no,
plumber.
Luigi was,
John Leguizamo.
yeah.
That's bam. It's the stupid stuff.
Oh, and Fisher Stevens, he was Iggy. He was the,
Yoshi.
yeah.
But he wasn't Yoshi. He was just some random punk kid. But it turned out to be Yoshi. Because he was de-evolved.
That movie was so bad.
Oh my gosh. The 90s, we were smoking crack.
There was a lot of drugs. Well, not as much as the 70s.
But it was also the random cocaine high that was just left over from the 80s just kind of rolled on into the 90s.
I think they were sober enough to make movies of their trips.
Yes. It's
Absolutely.
like, man, do you remember what happened like 5 years ago? Yeah, that was really dumb. We should totally make a movie about that.
Well, you know, Independence Day came out in the 90s.
Listen.
And there's an
Welcome to Earth.
alien in there.
One alien?
Men in Black, also 90s.
Maybe it's just that Will Smith is an alien. Maybe that's it.
Truman Show, Terrarium, Planetarium, Terrarium thing.
We're going to put flashcards.
What a-
We're going to have a vocabulary flashcards. Be like, this is this word. And then we're going to have like a vocabulary check next week.
Do I have to study?
What did we learn this week? The actual definition of terrarium.
Yeah. It's like where you put your lizard.
I mean, I call that something else, but I don't think that's appropriate to say.
But that was an interesting show for perspective. Truman Show.
Well, okay. It was an interesting until it started actually becoming really terrifying because people do that by themselves on purpose.
Now
Yes. And then it just turned,
we are Truman Show. Like
Yeah.
we've literally said that's a bad idea. He shouldn't be captive to technology and people watching him.
and now
we
we're
have
just like,
fucking Instagram.
oh, but it's even worse because we have Instagram and all that stuff, but then they have people that live stream their whole entire house.
Are you
in certain
serious?
country. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, they're
So they live stream. So
Yeah.
they have like security system. They get cameras in their house.
Yes.
And it's just open.
yeah.
That's messed up. That's like Big Brother, the show right there.
Yes, but people just do it
Why?
because they can make money.
Yeah. I can make money selling pictures of my feet. Doesn't mean I do.
Some
Actually,
people
if I could, I would.
Some people are really desperate, and it's also a great way to break into just some random stuff. If you live in another country and be like, I can get a cheap camera, Wi-Fi enabled, bam, make a couple $100.
I didn't know that was actually a thing.
That's legitimately a thing.
I gotta go hack some cameras.
It's not even hacking. They have sites and stuff like that.
Wow.
Listen, when you stay on the weird sides of the internet, you find weird stuff.
I try not to go to the weird side of the internet. It gets you into situations where you have to be the expert juryman in a jury case.
Well, when you deal a lot with video games, that tends to attract a lot of weird people, and especially with
Have you ever been called for jury duty?
called, yes, but gone, no. Because every case that I've ever been involved in, they've dismissed half the jury pool, and I was on the right half.
Man, you lucky. I sat there all day.
Dude, there's very easy way got out of jury duty.
He's guilty.
Just be the one who looks like he's going to cause a problem, and they'll dismiss you.
That's absolutely true because the dude who did cause a problem in our pool,
Yep.
he was dismissed before we even got started.
You know how to dismiss the whole jury pool? Be like, hey, there's another way that this case can end. If we think he's guilty, and the evidence says he's not, we can convict him because it's a pool of your jury. Or the opposite can happen. If all the evidence is pointing to that person and you say, hey, if all the jury says he's not guilty, bam, he's not guilty. Even if you have a picture or something like that.
So my case was, I found out later, was a child pornography case.
Oh,
And they literally had to pull jury members from the entire county. So when I got there, I was told that it would be half a day, and you would be in a room, small room, and they would call you in groups of like 12 or whatever.
yeah.
Well, they kept calling those groups of 12, and it was just like 60 people left in the room. Turns out the 60 people were the pool, because they thought that this case, being a child pornography case, was going to eat through jury members, and it did. It ate through a lot.
100%.
Like, before we even got started, the very first question the judge asked
Who has kids?
What it was, who has kids and who doesn't think that they can objectively look at evidence in this case. And I would say 20 people right there left were able to leave.
Yeah. Because
I kind of wanted to be on that jury.
yes, but
Like, I didn't, because I need to work, but I really kind of wanted to be on that jury.
Oh man, you don't want your like $30 a day and
So that you fill out a questionnaire when you get there.
what part of they dismissed my thing before I got there?
So if you actually go through the whole process, like I was down to selection.
Oh, you got far.
Yeah, I got through the whole process of being.
How did you get that far?
I don't know, like. When I tell you the rest of the story, it's going to be crazy when you find out what the thing was that dismissed me. So
He's balding. Get him out of here. He's on the profile.
It was almost that stupid. Like, I could have made it on that jury pool and caused a mistrial.
I could see you 100% causing a mistrial for anything.
Just because
it's a speeding ticket.
You know why? If it's a speeding ticket, it will be a mistrial. But the thing that got me, well, I'll get to that. They sit you in a room. You get a questionnaire. You fill it out. It has a whole bunch of stuff. What do you do? Who are your family members? Do you have anyone in the justice system, specifically Pasco County? And you fill out this questionnaire.
Yeah.
So that goes to the defense attorney and the prosecutor.
So if you put guilty for everything, they'll just
They actually don't
dismiss.
dismiss you for that. They didn't dismiss the guy who said he's guilty.
Oh,
And the reason is our judge was really good. I must say, it was a long ass process because of it, but she was really good. And what she said, she was very careful about how she worded stuff, because I don't think she wanted a mistrial on this either, which I would not want a mistrial on this. She said, if you can objectively look at evidence, then we need to question you. If you cannot objectively look at evidence, then we need to talk.
Yeah.
So she didn't just get rid of everybody. The women with kids, especially the ones with young kids, and the guys who flat out said that, no, he deserves to die.
Yes.
They left right away. And then she starts asking questions and was very specific on her questions, as she should be. She's a judge. And was asking if you take yourself out of the situation, or do you have the ability to take yourself out of the situation, take your emotion out? And no, it's going to be an emotionally charged case, and she wasn't denying that. But do you have the ability to look at the evidence without emotion and look at it objectively? And there was a couple people there that were kept through the process because they were trying to get out of it, but they could not, because we're all under oath.
Yes.
So they could not answer that question in a way that would dismiss them. So we had this one guy. It's always a guy, and he was.
It's Florida. There is always that guy.
And he was sitting and asking questions, but he was asking the same question every time.
Just worded differently.
It was like, but what if kind of questions. So she would answer the question and ask him a question, and he would say, no, but what if I think he's guilty anyway? And she would have to circle all the way back to the beginning. If you objectively look at the evidence, do you have the ability to delineate if he's guilty or innocent? And he would say, yes, but what if I think he's guilty because of this? And it's like, dude, shut up. Shut up. We're all here. None of us want to be here. We all think this dude's guilty. He looks guilty. Like, he looked like a pedophile. like you get you get that look of a pedophile.
Yeah.
I think you're guilty. I mean, I love our justice system and I love our system, so I'm going to objectively look at your case and not put my own opinion in. But this guy would not shut up. So it took forever to get through my section of pool. There were like 15 of us in our section.
So basically, you just should have gone up there like what he said.
No, what I should have done is just answered the questions with the answers he gave so we could do it all over again. And she would have got pissed off and dismissed both of us or held us in contempt, one of the two. So, she did threaten a guy to hold him in contempt because he was like, nope, I'm out. And she's like, no, you don't get to leave.
Like, they'll threaten me with a good time.
And he's like, no, I'm out. I can't do this case. I need to work tomorrow. And she literally looks at him. You don't think the rest of the people here have to work tomorrow? You'll be here as long as I tell you to be here. See, this guy was militant in his anger. So he gets to me, and the judge asks you a couple questions, and then the defense and prosecutor get to ask you a few questions. Mm-hmm. And I really liked the prosecutor. Really cool. Tried not to deal with issues of the case and only dealt in hypotheticals, because part of this whole chess move in this courtroom is to
not make your client guilty
and not prove his guilt in jury selection. So you can't use facts. You can use facts, but you can't use evidence.
And then it would be just a real case.
Yeah. Well, facts are different because, your truth, my truth. So she was asking,
my truth is bigger.
She was asking these questions, and she gets to me, asks about my career. I'm like, well, I install
screen rooms.
No, I was doing garage doors at the time. Yeah, because I had to take a day off. It cost me like $300. So and I got $30.
Yeah, I'd love one of those days.
No, I'm sorry. I got $16. I would have got $30 a day if I was chosen.
Oh.
Because that makes up for what you miss. So the defense attorney starts asking me questions, and it was just simple stuff. What do you do? How long have you lived in the area? How do you feel about child pornography? I'm like, really? Even if I liked it, I wouldn't tell you I like it. Like
every Saturday, once a week.
I'm under oath. And you're asking me my opinion on something that, if I was into it, would be illegal.
It's like it's one of those questions like they just ask just out of habit.
For sure.
Because like every question,
for sure,
and not knowing like
because it's like
what happens if someone else. I love it. It's like what?
That literally made me think that it was a rookie defense attorney or someone who has not done a high profile case like this, because. I'm like, okay, let's say he's here for speeding. Yeah. And for some reason there's a jury on his speeding case. Like he fought the system that long that he gets a jury.
Some people, they'll do it.
The defense attorney's going to go, so he's accused of speeding. Do you like speeding? And I'm going to say yes, because I freaking like speeding. And the penalty for that is literally nothing.
Here's my 20 speeding tickets.
It hasn't been that many. It's been like 8. So, defense attorney starts asking me stuff, or the prosecutor starts asking me questions, and same thing. It's just stupid. Some of them have to do with the case. Some of them have to do with the fact that the case was moved, and if you presume that he's guilty just because of that. And I'm like, what? Some of the questions, I'm like, are you stupid? I think with logic. So then at the end, the judge stands up, and literally the end, we're about to dismiss so that they can pick the jury.
Yeah.
So it's like 12 and 4 alternates or something. So 16 people are picked out of I think we had about 40 or 50 people left. No, shit. We were down to like 30. We only had enough. We couldn't do 2 pools. So they literally had to pick more than 50% of the people that were left out of 60 or 65 people that were there.
Man, that place was filled.
Like I said, they brought us in, and literally 2/3 of the jury pool picked for that day was for this case.
Ooh.
So she's doing her closing remarks and says that this is a child pornography case. It has to do with the internet. Does anybody else have experience or knowledge that they think is pertinent for us to know? So I'm here looking like a construction worker with a freaking technology degree. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, should I say it or should I get on this jury? Because I know they're going to go for me if I don't say anything, because my answers were very strategic in that I wanted to be objective and I wanted to be fair and I wanted to give this guy a shot because I like our system.
Yes.
And so, I raised my hand and I'm like, does the fact that I have a technology degree make a difference? And the fucking prosecutor spins around in her chair. She's like, yes. So the prosecutor's like, so what's your experience in technology? I was like, well, I have a degree in network administration. I understand computers. She says, oh, really? So what do you know about the dark web? I was like, well, I know quite a bit about the dark web. She's like, is it illegal? I was like, it's not illegal. So she's like, so you understand there's gray areas?
Yes.
Yes. Depending on what you're doing, it is not legal nor illegal. It is literally the freest space on the internet.
Yeah.
She says, can somebody stumble into it? I was like, stumbling into the dark web is very hard to do. Just because most of the dark web, aside from a couple browsers, are IP address driven. You need to know where you're going. It's not like you drive around the road and you stumble into the White House. No, you're going to the White House.
Here's just random IP address. Why did you pick that one? What do you mean?
So right there, I'm like, oh, this fucker was on the dark web getting child porn. Like, there's no way he's innocent. If they have proof and have his computer, he's not innocent now. I know he's guilty. So I think they saw that in my eyes. I'm like, while the dark web is a collection of networks and computers and different devices that are off of the normal search engines and not registered, typically.
Yeah.
The only way to access them is to have a browser that specifically operates in that level or to know the IP addresses of the things you're trying to get to.
Yeah, or if you're in a collection of people that have already mapped certain parts of it.
Yeah. That's a lot of the Tor browsers and stuff use that map. So she looks at me and says, can somebody go on the dark web and make it look like you went? I was like, yes and no. It can be done, but it is labor intensive. The reason somebody would want to do that doesn't make any sense unless you are high profile.
Exactly.
I saw the freaking the defense attorney scratch out the name, and then she was pissed because I literally became a de facto witness to the jury now because everybody's in there listening to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm off this fucking jury now. Damn it.
It's like that curiosity factor of like, shit, what did I miss? And then it's like, if that was the entire hinge of their case,
that
guy is screwed.
And I can never. I've tried to find the information out about this case, but I cannot remember the case number. I had a paper with the case number on it, but I lost it.
Wow, you lost a piece of paper?
Yeah, I know.
I wonder. It's crazy.
So I've been trying to look it up by court date, which is very difficult to do in Pasco County. You know how many court cases are listed per day in the entire county? Because you have East and West Pasco.
I was about to say.
So you have Dade City and the New Port Richey side. So you have two courthouses operating, and then they all get database together, and that includes traffic. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. So I could never find it. But so I'm thinking, and it didn't dawn on me till I was driving home. I'm like, damn, I might have just convicted this guy. Like, I became the expert witness in this case, and I didn't even know. I was just like, look, is my degree important? And then she starts asking questions, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to answer what I know, and I know a lot about the dark web, not because I go there. Hashtag.
Hashtag not self-incriminating.
So it's just funny how
technically some of the website or web servers that we put up are technically part of the dark web because they're unlisted.
Absolutely. The dark web is a misunderstood thing. The people only know about it because the only things that make it to any sort of high profile coverage are bad.
Yes.
But literally any secondary network or any network behind a firewall is a dark web because nobody knows what's there except the people that use it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's
anything.
just actually I think they reclassified it because they reclassified networking a lot. So I think that's considered gray web now.
But it's not though, because there's what, the professors, capital P professors and the capital E experts say.
It's
but
capital DR professors. They're doctors.
I'm talking about.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor.
Damn it.
So it was a really cool experience to convict a pedophile and not even have to be there for the whole trial. Like I just walked in and was like guilty and walked out. So it was
Guilty because of these reasons that you told me.
The cool thing was there was a guy there who was also
System administrator. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a software engineer.
Oh,
And we were in the elevator going down, and he just looked over to me and he's like, "Well, it was cool to have another person there who knew what they were talking about." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, could you imagine the jury?" And they picked dumb people,
yes.
literally the dumbest people they could who could understand the case.
But that's why it's like the jury of your peers. Like,
That was not the jury of his peers.
Good luck trying to find 12 people that are even remotely close to the craziness that we are.
Literally, the people they dismissed, the guy who asked a million questions,
Yeah.
me, the system administrator, right there's 3 good jurors. Because the guy who assumed he was guilty unless he was pressed would easily have looked at every side of that case.
Yes.
And I know damn well the prosecutor wanted the 2 computer people, and I can tell you that the defense attorney definitely struck us.
Oh yeah, instantly. Because it's like,
when I was talking, because I tried not to look at him too much. I didn't want to make eye contact because I didn't want him to know what my heart felt. So I just didn't look at him. But as soon as I started talking, I saw him scribbling, and damn well he was like, "Nope, don't want him because he knows what I did." Like.
Oh, yeah, I stumbled across 255.255.255.255. Yeah.
Well, that's an internal network, but anyway, yeah.
That's the joke.
It was a cool thing to experience. Literally the only time I've been called for jury duty.
No, I've been called twice, and every time I go to check in, and they're like, "Oh, you're literally half of the jury pool just gets assessed automatically."
Yeah, because they don't need that many people.
I know.
You know what happened with mine? They doubled the jury pool and kept everybody.
Yes, but that's why they said make sure you check in, and both times I was booted.
Good for you.
Not
Not
luck
good
of the
for
draw.
you. I mean, you were probably trying some freaking traffic case where.
Both times I was on the other side of the county,
Oh really?
and one time I had no car.
Oh yeah.
So
you would have been able to get out of it then, except they would have told you to take a bus.
I ain't taking freaking 20. Or I'm not taking an hour and a half to get to the other side of the county.
I think our dogs are dead. It's that time of night.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's been a good conversation.
Yes. It's hopefully we'll get some decent stuff out of this, and it seems to be a lot more fruitful this time than it was the last time.
Well, it's called structure. We actually talked about what we were going to
It's
talk
also-
about beforehand.
It's also called less of a train wreck.
And good audio
Yeah.
equipment. Well, better audio equipment. I think I'm going to make a couple changes.
Well, it's the infinite twiddling and fixing.
It actually
and tweaking.
is. So the funny thing is I bought this stuff and I'm like, I got it now. This will be perfect. And I'm already like, yep, I should have got 2 more ports on the sound box, and I need a headphone amplifier and
an audio splitter and
Well,
an
it's the
actual
headphone
decent
amplifier.
recording.
I need a computer just for recording.
Yeah.
Because I can't I can't record on my editing computer because it's in a different part of the house.
Actually, I'm wondering how long can we get a USB cable?
Pretty long.
And a secondary monitor, because HDMI can go pretty far.
I'm not going through that. I'd buy another computer or build another computer before I do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think you need another excuse to build a computer.
No, I really don't. I
No.
just do another one. That's like building an
We're-
AR. You got an
it's like-
excuse for building an AR? Yep, I want another one.
It's a day that ends in Y.
It's a day that has the word day in it.
That's why we're broke. That's
That literally is why.
yeah. How did you
Let's
waste
start a-
20 grand?
Why are we broke? Let's start a podcast. Bam, $1,000.
Oh, snap. You're not joking.
No, I'm not at all.
Between the two of us, holy crap.
Well, this has been another production of Two Beards Talk. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher,
SoundCloud.
not Stitcher. Shit,
No.
we don't have a Stitcher yet.
No,
SoundCloud, iTunes, Google
Spotify.
Music, Spotify.
Pretty much any place you get your podcast, and if it's not there, just let us know.
Absolutely. And as always, if you don't like your podcast, we'll give you twice the money you paid for it back.